was an industry which had a Kingfisher, Jet, a
Deccan,
Sahara,
Jet, yeah.
a Deccan.
Having 60% dominant market share is not cool.
Will this be an actual shift where more players will come in? Let's look at it from the investor perspective right now for Interglobe. Will this be an actual shift where more players will come in? Or once things settle, which they've said will happen by the 10th of December, people will kind of forget about it. Indigo will go about its business of having a 60% market share.
I think the latter is true, from my perspective.
I think the short term, the latter is true. The slightly longer term, I think it would be in the country's interest to have, independent of whether it's Indigo or somebody else, having 60% dominant market share is not cool in such an important sector,
But
which
how
is
do
now
you change
used.
that?
You change that by relaxing rules, allowing more people to come in, give incentives. I mean, nobody thought 5 years ago that India could actually reduce or completely overturn the mobile imports that India did. And India did it via the EMS schemes, right? The PLI schemes. I would be very surprised if we do not see something to that effect coming in the next 12 months in the aviation sector.
So if you have, so basically the slots and the availability of slots in prime times is the key concern. So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't understand the sector as well, but I'm sure the ministers do, and they will probably come out with a few things to try and do this. But it's the need of the hour. You don't want a 60% dominant market share. We don't want a repeat of what's happened in the month of December.
Yeah. No, so one is need of the hour, one is whether it's feasible or not. So on
I think long term it's feasible.
On the feasible, because you were there. This was an industry which had a Kingfisher, Jet, a
Deccan,
Sahara,
Jet, yeah.
Deccan. They all disappeared one by one, and there was a reason. There was a reason why you've seen this massive consolidation. It's a tough market
I'll
to
tell you
survive
the
in.
difference though between the last 2 decades and now, the stability in oil prices. Oil prices really held airline fortunes to ransom back then. One meaningful 33% contributor. That has changed now.
But Neeraj, do you think that that will stay the case? You can't guarantee that, right?
Well, the way the world is moving towards electrification and
It'll
the
be
crude
range
demand forecast by IEA, not me, right? It tells you a story.
Then all things being equal, wouldn't a dominant player like Interglobe then have an advantage over others?
But what I'm saying is it makes the sector a lot more predictable than what it was in 2000 to 2010. Also, a much smaller sector then versus what it is right now.
My opinion, we need more low-cost carriers. It's very hard.
They are there, but they're not growing for reasons because then bulk of your traffic is still between Mumbai, Delhi and your key sectors.